Now arriving at Belgrave.
Belgrave Station is the final station on the Belgrave line. It's a two-sided island platform, which is a bit odd, given a single-track section at Tacoma and Belgrave. You don't usually get to see two trains sitting at this station at once. Still, two platforms is better than one, so I suppose it's still nice. The station itself is usually pretty quiet. For one thing, it doesn't get the most amount of people, but also the surrounding trees and hills kind of protect it from the noise. Plus, it's got a customer service desk, it's got bathrooms, so it's got all the stuff you need. So the station itself is fairly good. It's got some impressive structures around it too. The bridge leading up towards the street is quite nice to look at least from the bottom. I don't know, maybe it's just the way it's designed. And of course, the overhead bridge at the back end of the station is even more nice. We'll get to that in a moment. At the top, I hope you like hills because this ramp is steep. Walking down the ramp to the buses is steep. Walking up the nearby streets is steep. It's a very hilly area, but what did you expect? It's Belgrave. This entire surrounding area is hilly. But still, it's got a bus interchange with multiple buses, including buses to Lilydale and Gembrook and other eastern areas, as well as a absolutely giant parking lot, so I guess I still expect a decent amount of traffic on this line, which it can sometimes get. So yeah, the other main street off to the side is, well, for one thing, it's got a big hill, and for the other thing, well, it's got a bunch of shops. It honestly just feels like the type of street you get in a small town, which, being the end of the line, it kind of does feel like a small town. A lot of end of line stations can kind of feel like that in this general direction. But of course, as I mentioned, if you were to walk all the way to the back of Belgrave Station, you'll see a bridge. Obviously, it's just a normal car bridge that you walk under, but I like how this bridge looks. You walk under it, and of course, we can't talk about Belgrave without talking about the Puffin Billy. If you walk down this pathway at the end of the platform, you walk down a natural pathway and lead to the Puffin Billy train station. You'll see various old trains just sitting there off in the distance. You'll see a very old style train station. It's absolutely wonderful to look at, and you're surrounded by nature as you do so, so it's a lovely walk. The Puffin Billy train station is kind of connected to Belgrave's past. Like a lot of end of lines we've discussed, there is/was more beyond it. At years and years ago, the Belgrave line, as we know it, ended at Ferntree Gully, and instead had a train line connected to it that went all the way through Belgrave, all the way to Gembrook. That line still kind of sort of exists, only now it only exists as the Puffin Billy. The Puffin Billy is not a normal service, but rather a tourist railway that is very popular. It leads to various small towns and areas around the hills, and leads to places like Emerald and Gembrook. But also, it's just very popular. You get to ride on old trains, see old train stations. You get to sit outside the windows of the trains. So it is a massively popular destination that you pretty much have to book in advance for because it gets very popular and it's a little pricey, but even if you're not taking a ride on that train, come down to Belgrave and look at the old station. Look at the old station, look at the tourist center, see the people working there. It's a friendly place. Being surrounded by the hills and the greenery is really nice. It's just it feels like the type of thing you would get in an old V-Line station, except it's right there next to a modern station. I love how it just connects seamlessly. You're on the modern, normal station, you follow it to the end, and then you find the entrance to the Puffin Billy. Most people who live in the surrounding suburbs and just use this as a normal train station probably just get off the train, walk up to the overpass, and just head to the main street or the buses or the car park. For them, that's their everyday life. And then, for the tourists or the people who are enthusiasts, they walk down to the end. And it almost kind of feels like a nice little secret tucked away at the end where you find that, ooh, this train station, it continues like a nice little secret area. I mean, there's plenty of paths that lead there. It's not a secret. There are signs telling you where it goes. But, it's just because I just like the vibe of walking to the end of the platform and then there's more to it. It just keeps going and then it extends naturally to more. Plus, there's something kind of funny about seeing trains on narrow gauge. They're so small, the platform is so low, it's just really funny. Like, the platform is as low as a normal step. I love looking at the platform, I love looking at the narrow gauge. They've got a lot of old trains just sitting there, permanently sitting there. Wander around. There's a lot of neat things to see, even if you're not riding the Puff and Billy train. If you just like looking at old trains, it's great. It extends all the way out too. That like it keeps extending. And although I have not ridden it since I was a child with barely any memories of it, the line extends, like I said, all the way to Gembrook, and it's got quite a good trackage. It goes over a trestle bridge and goes through various other places, so there's a reason it's popular. You get to see old trains, you get to see old places. It's popular, but like I said, even if you're not riding the train, I just love visiting this place. You know, okay, it's a bit of a killer on the legs trying to walk up and down the hills to the streets, but otherwise, this is like visiting a small town, but it's just at the end of the normal train line. And the Belgrave line gets quite a lot of people. It's a very popular train line with a lot of people all throughout the line. So a popular train line, but then you suddenly get there and you're suddenly peaceful. And that's what the best part of it is. It's just so peaceful. It's the best way to say it. And again, this is just another one of those cases where we get to the end of the line and there's more to it. Just like how we've had other train stations where the end of the line used to go on further or could go on further, this is another one where it could go on further because those towns are useful places and places that people live. And while the Puff and Billy is nice, it's a tourist destination. It's not a normal service, so they don't get their normal services. The best they can rely on is some buses. But again, it's nice that even though the line is shut down for conventional means, they kept it alive as sort of a preserving history, even if they were not using it on a regular basis. Still, it's always interesting, as I say, to see what's at the end of the line. Sometimes it's just the end and there's nothing there. This time it's a case of there is something there. There was something there, and it still kind of is. And I like how they preserved it even though it's not a functioning line. And like I said, I enjoy the peaceful atmosphere. Of all the end of line stations, it's one of the most peaceful. There's a couple other peaceful ones, but this one is just very, very peaceful.